Right. What were your reflections of the session?
I took into consideration the environment we had, because the weather was pants. So I had originally planned in some short corners, so I thought my adaptation and flexibility on the session was quite good, because I noticed something wouldn't quite work due to an external factor, so I changed that. That's one of the things I took into consideration straight away. Again, I felt the players progressed throughout, so again I felt I did something right in that area. So I thought, it was okay. I thought it was all right. Obviously, it could always be better, but that's why I always reflect on what I do.
How did the low numbers impact on your session and your plan?
I try as best as I can never to accommodate for a specific number, because obviously if I have a specific number and the session will only work with that number and the players don't turn up, it goes to pot really. So I had to just reduce numbers. Originally I was going to do 2 5v5 circles in the warm-up, expecting 20 because that's the numbers we were getting, but we got I think it was 8 including the goalkeeper, 9 including the goalkeeper, so I changed that. But again, it's always better to have more players, because then you've got more of the teams there, where there's only say 2 from the 3s, 2 from the 4s, and so on, where you can't do much gameplay almost in those specific areas.
Yeah, I thought I didn't realise that you hadn't planned to do that session, and you changed, you adapted it because of the conditions. So I thought, well, on reflection, I would say you did that really well, because it came across as though it was well thought out and well planned anyway. So I particularly liked you talked to the goalkeeper in quite some detail prior to the session, because your session then was centred around defensive work and how that linked with the goalkeeper. So I thought your explanation with the goalkeeper, with Isaac, was really good. So he felt, because I think sometimes the danger is goalkeepers feel as though they're just having the ball back.
I think that was one of my weaknesses at the end of last season. Because I coach elsewhere, and there's goalkeeping coaches, so this is the first experience I have. I have coached goalkeepers before, but on an individual basis. This is the first time where I've got to juggle multiple things. So I knew at the beginning of the season, before I started the first session, I thought I've got to be really, really inclusive, and that includes everyone, including the goalkeepers. Not just do goalkeepers, and then do the players, and then mush them together. I've got to work as a whole, because in a game you do, it's not goalkeepers and everyone else.
They're just an equal part of the team, and therefore they've got to feel as valued as the outfield players do. So that was really good. Obviously it was clear from just watching that session that you've encouraged them to take responsibility for their own warm-up rather than being shouted at, and even at our level in the first team it's something that we have to work on all the time, because you just get lazy.
You should have been here a few weeks before. There was a little bit of shouting just because the quality wasn't there at all.
But and I think players need to understand that whether it's a training session or a match. I mean, I made a point to my group a couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks ago. Why is it different for training as it is on a match day? It shouldn't be. It should be exactly the same, because you need to be thoroughly prepared for the activity. If training's close to match play, which hopefully you try and achieve quite often, it should be the same. So then you went into some stick and ball, which was good.
Yeah, I'm just trying to remember.
Players on the inside of the circles and 2 players on the outside. How do you think that went? Did that achieve what you wanted it to do?
Again, it was progressive instead of what you start with, stick and ball. Just get moving, getting comfortable, warming up body in that hockey environment, not just doing your warm-up, so it's the next progression. I choose circles because you can't get trapped in a corner, you can't run away from anything, there's no escape. So that again is a very inclusive small unit play, which is realistic to a game. So the aims of it was, just warm up the mind and the body using hockey specific skills, how you would in a game. So I think it worked well, and again I progressed it to make it into a larger small unit play in a way, and added some more progressions on top of that.
It's not a criticism, I just think sometimes it could be a little bit of a bigger area, so you encourage them to move a little bit more, but especially when it was a cold, wet, horrible night, to keep moving. You could have done, but
Yeah.
it's not a criticism at all.
Okay.
But I think just bear in mind sometimes to have a bigger area, then they've got to move to get onto the ball to, you know, create some passing lanes, etc. But that was fine. And then you went into feeding the ball to the left forward with the defender trailing.
Yeah, back marking.
Yeah.
Again, it was the theme for the evening was the defensive situation. So the focus wasn't on the attacker making the J run. It was how the defender would react in that situation. And most of the time, the defender might get caught on the back foot. Hence why I asked them to back mark again, making it realistic. So again, not all the time, but majority of the time back marking how they would react to that situation and get themselves out of danger.
So, what guidance did you give to the defender, or did you just let it?
At the beginning, I gave them a description of what the activity was, but I didn't really say much more on that. And again, I emphasised that it was a defensive activity, and not instantly, but there was still in quite a lot of the minds the attacker always had to get the ball, and we always forgot about the theme a little bit. But at the beginning, I didn't give much instruction, just to see what they wanted to do, and I gave a bit more guidance. I put cones in the way because I didn't want them to make that direct line, because in reality there's going to be defenders stood in that direct line, so that's why I wanted to make that J run.
Yeah, perfect. So, so then at what point did you decide that you were going to give them a little bit of advice when you pulled them in? Discuss it.
Again, I gave them that opportunity for trial and error, but what I had in my mind obviously might not be the exact way. Again, there isn't any exact way in sport. Different situations at different times. It didn't quite. There wasn't the actual J. That's what I was concerned about, because again, very rarely do you run sort of in a straight line in the D. So. I think that was when the cones got put in. I didn't really say anything. I put the cones in, and they realised, oh, I do have to go a bit wider because there would be other defenders in. And the other defender who fed the ball into the wide player, who ran in, that's when I spoke with Isaac, because Isaac wasn't too sure at that point, and neither was, I can't remember who it's talking to, another defensive player, was umming of which player they should go to. And we were saying in a game there would be other defenders, even though there was one defender, but the aim as well was incorporating the goalkeepers of how can we turn this situation into a 2v1, the attackers into a 2v2, including the goalkeeper. So we were getting there at the end, but it was definitely a challenge for them. There was a lot of thinking going on.